I left the US for Paris because of my French lover. Attention all passengers, this is an important announcement. Due to an ongoing security investigation, all flights have been temporarily delayed. A voice said from the intercom at the airport in French and English. An angry murmur erupted from the crowd. We apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate your patience. Please remain in the terminal and await further updates. What? What the hell is going on? I said angrily. I was annoyed and at the same time concerned. What did they mean by security investigation? The airport became noisy and rowdy with the voices of thousands expressing how angry they were. I was one of them. I had been in Paris for a business trip and needed to be on my way back to Texas, then all that happened. Suddenly, we saw some security operatives running toward us, yelling as they swam through the crowd. "Let us through!" We were thrown into confusion, wondering what was going on. It had become concerning. What could make the security like that? Like everyone did, I took out my phone only to see what was on the headline. The headline in bold letters said that there was a bomb threat phoned in at the airport. Everyone was thrown into further confusion. In some seconds, some people began to run toward the exit. Not too soon. I was part of the crowd, scampering with their luggage out of the building. Just behind us, we heard the intercom come alive again. First in French and later in English, that all flights had been suspended till further notice. The moment when I stepped out of the airport, I realized that I was stranded. There was no extra money to check into a hotel. "Oh shit," I said as I face-palmed and grunted. "What am I gonna do? Why today of all days to have a bomb threat?" I stood outside the airport, looking about, not knowing what to do. There was no plan in my head. I just hoped a miracle would happen, or they would find it was a prank or something. I was moving about looking for a suitable place to be away from the scorching sun when I mistakenly bumped into something. When I looked, I saw it was a person. He was so angry and began to speak so angrily. I wanted to apologize, but I couldn't understand a word he was saying. He was speaking French. "I'm sorry, I can't understand a word you're saying," I said. "I just want to say I'm sorry." "American?" he asked. "Yeah." "You understand English?" I asked. "Yeah." "Could you translate all that you were saying in French? Because I felt you were insulting me," I said. Then he laughed at me and said, "Are you joking?" "No." "I said you should take off your shades and see the road well," he replied. "See, I knew it," I said as I wiped the sweat off my face. "You're sweating a lot, mon ami. Why don't you go back to your lodge? The sun is roasting you." "You think I don't know that? I have no more money for a hotel." "So you're stranded?" "Pretty much, yeah," I said. "So what are you going to do?" "I don't know, man." "I am sorry about your situation, by the way," he said. "I'm Professor Jean Dupont. I just arrived from a workshop in your country, at New York to be precise." "Oh, that's cool." "I told you my name. You're not going to tell me yours?" "My name is Parker." "Parker? Peter? Peter Parker?" "No," I laughed. "Parker Carr." "What?" he said and burst into laughter. I didn't get why he was laughing. I watched him stagger back and forth while laughing. "Parker Carr?" "Yeah, what's funny?" He laughed and tried again. "It literally translates to Parker Carr. You know what I am saying?" "Oh," I said, smiling, and I watched him continue laughing. "Nice to meet you, by the way," he said, and walked away in the opposite direction. "You too." He made me forget for a moment I had been roasted by the sun, but now that he had left, I could now feel the burning heat. "American!" I heard from behind me. I turned around and saw him walking toward me. "Yeah?" "I normally wouldn't do this, and I don't know why I am," he said. "Would you like to stay at my place for some days till your flight gets rescheduled? I kind of feel bad leaving you here." I don't really... I'm okay. I'm gonna find a way, thank you." "What are you going to do? Beg alms? Sleep on the street?" "No," I said. "Why would you want to help a random stranger you met at the airport? I might be the one who caused the bomb threat." "Well, are you?" "Of course not." "You really don't have any choice, my friend," he said. "I guess I don't," I said. "Thank you so much. I'm very grateful." "Yeah," he said. "How's ratatouille for dinner?" "Ratatouille? I have heard of it. I watched that." "I know," he said and chuckled. "You're going to taste it tonight, Parker." I will be glad, I said, laughing softly. Jean ordered an Uber to come pick us up. Some minutes later, it came and took us to his apartment. It was a cozy and beautiful apartment. You could tell by the arrangement of things that Jean was a really clean person. "Please take off your shoes," he said before I almost stepped in. I was lost appreciating the apartment with my eyes while he took off his shoes. "Oh, sorry." I immediately bent to take off my shoes and walked in. "You are welcome to my humble abode." "It is really nice." "Sorry, I have only one bed here. You wouldn't mind if you slept on the couch, right?" "No, I don't mind. Thank you so much." "De rien." "What does that mean?" "It means you're welcome," he said. "Oh. Is this your first time in Paris?" "Yeah." "Oh, you were here for a tour?" "N'est-ce pas?" "No," I said. I was here for a business trip." "Oh, so you never had the chance to have a tour around the place, huh?" "No, can't say I have." "What's a trip to Paris without at least a tour?" he asked. "When I went to New York, I did a tour, with someone's help, of course. I saw Broadway and the Brooklyn Bridge." "Would you like to be my tour guide then?" I asked. "Yes, my friend. Not today, of course. It was a long flight," he said, stretching. "I want to lay down for a little bit." "Sure. Help yourself to anything from the fridge while I snore away," he said and smiled before walking to his room. The next 3 days. It had been 3 days with Jean, and my flight had been rescheduled for 2 days later after it was found out that the bomb threat was a stupid prank by some silly youngins. Jean was very hospitable, and it began to look like I didn't want to leave Paris. He was hospitable to the extent that he now made me sleep beside him on his king-size bed. It was already as though we had been friends for a long time. "There's enough space for you on the bed to fight your battles in your dreams," he said. He still made his jokes, and I had joined to always serve it back to him. "What if I think you were my enemy?" "Don't worry, just see me as a deep trench you don't want to fall into." "I will think about it," I said and chuckled. "Thank you." "You're welcome. Have you ever seen Mona Lisa so close?" he asked. "No." "It looks like you need a tour of the Louvre Museum." After some hours of roaming around the museum and taking pictures, he asked, "Are you hungry?" "Yeah." "Have you ever tasted a crepe?" "What's that?" "C-R-E-P-E. It is like pancake." "Oh, that," I said. "You don't want to know what I have been calling all these years." "Tell me," he said as he walked. "Trust me, you don't want to know." "Now you have made me interested," he said. "S'il te plaît." "What's that?" "I'm begging." "If I tell you, you're just going to turn it into a joke," I said. Then he laughed. "You're really making me more interested in this. Just tell me, please." "Okay, fine," I said. I pronounced it as I see it, as I feel a speaker of English would pronounce it. "What do you," he muttered. "Wait, you pronounce it like herpes?" "Yeah," I said and looked down at my feet. He began to laugh so hard I felt a little embarrassed because everyone was looking at us. Eventually, the laughter became contagious and had no choice but to join him. "Something bothers me, by the way, Jean," I said. "What?" he said as he ate his food. "I don't know if it is a general fact, but the way you joke about everything seems like you use to mask your pains or something." After I said those words, he chuckled. "Now you're getting serious with me, American," he said. "I'm just curious, am I right, though?" "Yes." "I knew it," I said. "What are you hiding?" "Why would I tell you? This is not a séance de thérapie, is it?" "You said therapy session, didn't you?" I asked, and he nodded. "I don't know, it might be." "No, I don't need therapy. I am fine. I haven't laughed like the way you have made me do these past few days," he chuckled. "All right, no problem then," I said. "But I would be here if you ever change your mind." "I'm not sure I will, but merci." "Do you do therapy as a side job or leisure thing?" "No, I write instead." "Wow, I write too." "Really?" "Of course. What do I expect from a professor of literature?" "Yeah." "Wow, that's great. Will you show me?" "You might have a headache reading it. It's in French." "Oh, but I bet it is good though. Maybe for you. I'm going to translate my published works to English. Wow, thank you so much, I said excitedly. No problems, he said. Parker, do you get nervous around no parking signs? Oh, Sean, I said and began to chuckle. You don't have more jokes than I do. Oh, you wish. Wish? What, because you're a genie? He muttered in confusion and suddenly realized a joke. He began to cackle as soon as he got it. I laughed with him, but he laughed the loudest. 2 days later. It was the day that I was to be on my flight to Texas. I took one last look at that beautiful city from the window of Jean's car. I was going to miss it. Eventually, we got to the airport. I sat in the car with a smile, a little reluctant to come down from the car. What, you don't want to go home? I want to. I'm just going to miss this place, Jean. I can't believe that I'm going to miss you, I said. Of course you're going to miss me. I'm fun to be with. Oh, don't let it get into your head, I said. Thank you for everything. Thanks for a great experience in the city of love. Yeah, he said. Speaking of love, you have someone you're going to meet in Texas? If I did, I think he would have been blowing up my phone all the days I've been with you. He? You are gay? Yeah. Wow, we have a lot of things in common. Oh, wow, I said, and my voice trailed into silence. I think it's almost time. Oh, yeah, that's right, I replied and got out of the car. Jean helped me with my luggage and watched me as I walked into the airport. I turned around to wave at him, but I saw him walking briskly toward me. Wait, I just remembered I don't have your contact. Oh, right. We exchanged contacts and added each other on some social media. We hugged before I left him. While in the air, somehow I wished I could see Jean's tiny car driving on the tiny roads. But I didn't. I smiled as I remembered all the moments I had with him. His jokes, his tasty foods, and his laughter, which was going to stay rent-free in my head. How strange that I made friends with a stranger on a day I thought was a bad day. How life works. I wonder what game life might play at the end now that he told me he was gay too. It was just a thought at the time though. 2 months later. 2 months later, Jean and I were still in touch. We called, texted, and video called. There was this smile on my face each time I saw the notification of his text, or when my phone buzzed when he called. I couldn't tell what the feeling was yet, but I just knew I always felt, a little giddy or having butterflies in my belly. He eventually translated his work as he promised. I must tell you, when I saw his work, I became reluctant to send mine to him because I felt he was far better than I was. He begged me to send mine, and I had to give in. I had never seen someone so eager to see my work as Jean ever since then. It had been like that for all those 3 months. It was the same excitement when I got a call from him just as soon as I got off work. Hi, I said. Coincidentally, you called when I just got out of work. Oh, really? That's nice. I have great news. Say it like it's hot. I am in the US. What? Really? Jean, are you playing a prank? I know I joked too much for you to believe me, he said, but I am telling the truth. Oh my God, why didn't you tell me before you came? Because I wanted to surprise you? Well, I am surprised and I'm very happy, I said, smiling from ear to ear. Wait, where are you? Texas. Texas? You're in Texas? Yeah, he said. I am here for an important event. Jean, you're in Texas? I wanted to explode with happiness. Yeah. Oh my God. What? You didn't want me here? He asked. No, not that, Jean. You need to see how happy I am, I said, laughing. Oh my God, where the hell are you? Oh, calm down. I know you miss me, Spider-Man, he said and chuckled. Of course, I've been waiting for an opportunity to visit Paris again, but the universe brought Paris to me. You are speaking like I brought some delicacies. Well, if you didn't, you brought your hands, and I've got a kitchen, I said. Oh, Parker, he said and chuckled. Yeah, he now called me Parker more and rarely called me American. I will come to you as soon as I am done with this thing. I just wanted to tell you. I'll be waiting for your call, I said. I'm really happy to hear from you. Me too. I will talk to you later. All right. A few hours later, he called me and asked for my address. The distance from where he was to my apartment was about 10 minutes. I'm on my way, he said. "All right, I'll be expecting you," I said with glee. I prepared some mashed potatoes, some roast, and wine too. I dressed like I was hosting a Thanksgiving dinner and stood outside of my apartment with a wide smile, waiting for a car to drive right into my front. Some minutes later, I saw a car appear and I could see someone's head out of the window and his hand waving from the distance. I already saw it was him. My smile was wider, and if I were not careful, I might have had a muscle strain at my jaw. As soon as he stepped out, I hugged him. I didn't even let him balance. He was laughing uncontrollably on my shoulder while I patted him on the back before we detached. How we were acting like teenagers. After that, we walked in with his luggage. "Something smells delicious in here," he said as he sniffed. "Yeah, you smell right. I hope it tastes just as good as it smells." "Wait till you taste it first," I said. "Oh, nice," he said and chuckled. "Does it taste good?" "Actually, delicioso," he said. "I love it." "Merci beaucoup," I said and grinned. "By the way, I read your recent work on the plane. How was it?" "I didn't sleep until I finished it," he said. "You're joking." "No, I am not," he said. My eyes were wide awake throughout. I smiled and stared at him. "What?" he asked. "Sometimes it feels like my work is awful, but you just tell me it is good so I can be happy." "Why do you think that, Parker?" he asked. "You still think you are not good enough because I am a professor of literature?" "I guess so." "You expect me to dissect it or something?" he asked. "Yeah, as a professor, that sort of thing," he laughed after I spoke. "What if I tell you your work is genuinely good? I read your work as a professor of literature and as a regular reader, and I love it." "What about as a professor?" "I didn't read it as a professor," he said. "I don't know how you want me to tell you how good the book is, or do you have a lie detector?" "It's all right," I said and smiled. I was teasing. "So the tease was dessert?" "No," I replied. "Chocolate mousses." "Ooh la la, now you are talking." I laughed as soon as he spoke. The next 3 weeks. Jean had planned to leave at the end of the first week, but I convinced him to stay. It was like we continued what we were doing in Paris. He didn't change. He was the same Jean I knew some months ago, still cracking his belly-aching jokes. At the end of the 3rd week, it was already becoming obvious I was having feelings for Jean. The signs were obvious, and hoped he noticed and felt the same way. When he spoke to me, I always got lost in his eyes. I always felt the hair on my skin erect every time we touched, and I smiled when he came to my mind. There was no need to deny it. Such things can't be denied. They will grow and the roots come out of you. "You making me add weight?" I said as I stared at the mirror. "Are you complimenting or complaining?" "I think it's both." He laughed and continued reading a work I recently finished. "I will take it as a compliment." Then there was silence. I was staring at him through the mirror. "Why are you single, Jean?" I asked. "Why are you asking, Thomas? Doing one of your therapy sessions?" "No. Why would it be a therapy session? It's a regular question." Then he went quiet. I could tell he was just staring at the page and past the words. "I just haven't found the right one," he said. "Hypothetically speaking, what if he is standing right in front of you? Like, what if he is not even far from you?" I asked. "Like, someone in your place of work or something?" "I think I would know when the time comes." I went lost for words for a while before I regained my voice. "What if it is that time already and you are blind to it?" I asked. "Why all these questions?" "I'm asking for myself," I replied. "I have feelings for someone." "At work?" "Yeah." "Oh, that's nice," he said, sounding genuinely happy. "Have you told him?" "No, I'm not sure he feels the same way I feel." "You might not know until you speak to him." "He sees me only as a friend," I said. "He said that?" "He shows it." "You're funny, Parker," he said. "Stop making assumptions and speak to him." I murmured. "I'll think about it. Thank you." How do I tell him I was talking about him? The next week. By the next week, I had tried different tactics to know if Jean felt the same, but I couldn't get an answer. I was confused about whether to say my mind to him or just let the feelings fade. Jean and I went for a trivia night at the bar. We just wanted to have fun, so we didn't care we got eliminated halfway. Jean was a different person that night. He had become a little drunk, and to be honest, it was like I liked him more when he was drunk because he asked me to dance with him. He held my hands while we danced at the bar. Surprisingly, I wasn't embarrassed, or perhaps because I had become a little drunk by that time. The night was going great until Jean mistakenly hit this guy sitting at the counter. His drink spilled on him. "Oh, I am sorry. Are you serious right now? Are you blind?" the guy yelled at him. "I am so sorry. It was a mistake." "Just look at this. This shirt costs more than your drink, buddy. You can't just barge into people like a damn bull in a china shop." "Hey, big guy," I said. "He already apologized. You don't need all that." "Shut your hole and mind your business." "You can't shut me up. Who the hell are you?" I yelled angrily. "Calm down, Parker," Jean said. "It's fine." "Sit your ass down or you're going to regret meddling in someone's business." "Oh yeah? What are you going to do about it?" I asked. By that time, we were already facing each other, breathing angrily in each other's faces. "Parker, please, there's no need to escalate this." "No, let me show..." Before I could finish, I felt something hard hit my face, making me kiss the dirt on the ground. For a few minutes, I was dazed and I could barely raise myself from the ground. I soon felt Jean's hand trying to support my feet. I stubbornly wanted to punch him, but Jean dragged me out. Jean managed to take me home. He laid me on the couch where I winced in pain. I could now feel the pain heavy on my face. Jean had rushed to the fridge to get an ice pack and came back in a few seconds. He placed it on my face. "What did you think you were doing, stupid?" he asked. "Acting like a superhero?" "You call me Spider-Man," I said. "He was insulting you, and I couldn't stand and not do anything." "You should have just let him. Now you have a swollen face." "But, no, but. Keep quiet," he replied. "How do you feel?" "I do not feel my heart beating in my face," I said, and then he chuckled. He rubbed the ice pack on my face gently while I stared at his face while he focused on the bruise of my face. Then he noticed I was staring. "Why are you staring at me like that?" he asked. I didn't give a reply but continued staring. He had a confused look until I raised my head and approached him with my pouted lips, expecting they would touch his own, but he immediately pulled his face away and stood. "What are you doing?" I thought... You thought what?" I felt so embarrassed and wished I could sink into the couch from the embarrassment. He was already some feet away, leaving the ice pack beside my head. I found the strength to walk out of his presence to the room to lie down. He had come like an hour later when he thought I was sleeping to lie beside me. I didn't need to look, but my back felt like he had left so much space between us on that bed. I hated how I felt. It was more painful than the pain on my face. 2 days later. Ever since that night, it had become quiet and awkward in my apartment. We only exchanged very few words, like we were trying to watch how he breathed. I hated it all. Jean would have found a joke to crack, but it seemed like the jokes were eating away inside him because he couldn't tell me. It was stupid how he couldn't speak. "Jean," I said to him when I couldn't take it anymore. "Yes?" "We need to talk about what happened that night," I said. I just want to come straight to you." "Straight? You are gay, Parker," he said and chuckled. "Let's be a little serious here, Jean," I said. "Okay, what do you want us to talk about? That you tried to kiss me? I think you were just drunk." "No, I wasn't. I was a little drunk, but that kiss was... me," I said. "I have feelings for you, Jean." "But you said you liked someone at work." "I was talking about you, Jean. You. I've been bottling the feelings because I wasn't sure how you felt." "Parker, I don't know what to say." "Just say anything." "Can't we stay friends?" "What then happens to how I feel about it? I can't see you as just a friend," I replied. I took a little pause before I spoke. "Are you saying you never felt anything for me all this while?" "Parker," he said, "the truth is that I do have feelings for you." "Then what's going on?" I asked. "I'm scared." "Scared of what?" "Giving out to my heart again." I stared at him intently for a moment, wondering what he meant. "What do you mean?" "I am not sure I am ready to be in a relationship again." "What happened in your last relationship?" "Some years ago I gave him my heart and he went away with it," he said. "He died of cancer. My soul died on that day when I watched him die. I have only revived a little part of it ever since." "Oh my," I muttered. He looked so close to tears. "I am so sorry." "I am sorry, Parker. I'm just not ready to give my heart yet." "Jean, I am sorry. I also wanted to tell you I'll be leaving for Paris next week, he said. What? I have been away for quite a long time, he said. I promise it's not you, Pacquiao. I just miss home. I was heartbroken, and the only way I could express it was just to stare at him with an open but speechless mouth. The following week, I drove Jean to the airport gloomy. We couldn't speak throughout, but I felt his eyes on my face at intervals. When we reached the airport, he stared at me with a guilty smile. I feel guilty for hurting you, Pacquiao. I'm so sorry. I wish it turned out different. Different in what way? I asked. He smiled and just walked up to me. I was expecting a hug. As soon as he wrapped his arms around my neck, he held my face and planted a kiss on my cheek. He smiled and walked away while I gazed, dumbfounded, shocked with a little shout of happiness. I stood there till he vanished in the distance. 4 days later. 3 days passed, and I could not stop thinking about the kiss. I could still feel the pressure of his lips on my cheek. It was fresh as he planted it. What could I do to let him know I am crazy about him and he can give his heart to me? Inside, my head was just a chaos of thoughts. A part of me felt I should let him go, but a greater part of me wanted to go after him. Fortunately, I requested some time ago, before Jean came to Texas, that I wanted to relocate to Paris branch. It was around that time my request was granted. It was as though it was a sign from the universe to go after him. 2 weeks later, I had made arrangements to move to Paris, and soon I was on a plane. The plane was yet to lift off, so I used the opportunity to video call Jean. I thought he wasn't going to pick up the call, but he surprised me. Hi, I said. Bonjour, he replied. How are you doing? I can't say, but I would like you to lift my spirit a little. In what way? I wanted to ask how I could show that my feelings for you are true, I said. We are here again. Yes, I can't stop thinking about you, Jean, I said. I don't know. Please, sir. Can you turn off your device? We will soon take off, and our hostess said. Okay, I replied. I just need a few minutes. Please be quick with it, sir. Thank you, she said and left. You are on the plane? He asked. Yeah, going on a trip to Sweden. I'll speak to you later. All right, au revoir. Some hours later, I was already in front of Jean's door with my luggage, trying to muster the courage to press that doorbell. I breathed a sigh and pressed the button. I didn't hear movement. I pressed it about 3 more times before I heard the door unlatch. The door opened and I saw Jean staring with wide eyes that looked like they were about to fall out of his sockets. He tried to make words, but they failed him. He just had a bemused frown that said everything he wanted to say. Hello, Jean, I said with a smile. What are you doing here? I got transferred to the Paris branch. At least I get to be closer to you, Jean, I said. Pacquiao. Jean, I haven't come to make you choose between your past and future. I know how hurtful it feels to lose someone and how the pain can linger. It is devastating, so I'm not going to pressure you into a relationship with me. So, I just want you to know if you need someone to talk to, I'm closer to you now. Thank you, Pacquiao, he said, smiling. I'll see you some other time. Okay, au revoir, Pacquiao, he said. Au revoir, Jean. Then we held a smile at each other till he closed the door. I'd realized after that rest that I was kind of inconsiderate by pressurizing him. What I was going to do was, rather than fixing his pain, I would simply be there for him, patient and steady, showing through my actions that my love wasn't a passing phase. The next week, I was at Jean's door with a plate of homemade crepes that I had learned from YouTube. As soon as he opened the door, his face brightened when he saw me. Bonjour, Jean, I said. I had begun to learn a little French. Comment ça va? Bonjour, Pacquiao. Ça va bien, merci, he said with a big smile. J'ai apporté des crêpes pour... The words fled out of my head. I had practiced those words about 10 minutes before coming. I sighed. Mon Dieu. What I meant was I brought these homemade crepes for you. He was already laughing so hard while I spoke. You tried, Pacquiao, he said. That was nice. I memorized it, but it flew out of my head. I messed that up, but I don't think I messed these crepes up. My mouth will be the judge of that, he said, and chuckled as he received it from me. I've got a first touch magic. Don't worry, I assure you it is nice, I said. Oh really? That's nice, he said. Merci beaucoup, Pacquiao. I'm grateful. It is nada, I said. Sorry, that's Spanish. We both burst into laughter. I have to be somewhere. I'm gonna see you later. Alright, see you soon, he said and closed his door behind me. 3 days later, I put a call through to Jean as I was trying to cook a French dish. It was an avenue to have another conversation with him. Hey Jean. Hello Paquel. Ça va? Ça va bien, merci. I'm trying to cook a French dish here, and I would need your expertise in cooking this so I don't mess it up. But you told me you have first touch magic, he said, chuckling. This is where I kill my pride, Jean. I need your help, I said, laughing. Okay, what are you cooking? I really don't know how to pronounce it, but could you come, please? I asked. All right, send your address. Yes, merci. He came some minutes later. I was so happy to see him. While we prepared the meal, I couldn't help but stare at him. How could I not? It was Jean. I was so in love with him. I turned away before he caught me, until he caught me. Were you listening? He asked. Yes, I was. No, you weren't. No, I wasn't, I said. Why? I was distracted by you, I said. Stay focused. How could I stay focused when you're literally glowing in my face? I asked and smiled. He smiled, but he wanted to act so serious. Oh, Paquel. I guess it's because you are a genie. Do genies glow? Maybe not, but this genie doesn't stay in a lamp. You stay in my heart, I said. But I don't grant wishes when you rub my chest, he replied with a smile. You already granted me 3 wishes, I said. I have been for a long time, but you granted me the wish of companionship, the wish of fulfillment, because I have never been more fulfilled than I am now. Finally, you granted me the wish of genuine love. He stared into my eyes and smiled. He was just as thoughtful and loving as you. What was his name? Louis, he said. His name means fighter. He fought the battle with cancer till he died. No, I said. He fought a good fight and went to rest. Eternal rest. What was he like? He was loving, sweet, compassionate. He snored. His shoes stunk. He nibbled on his nails, but I loved him. It's his imperfections that I miss the most about him. I miss when I nudged when he snored. I miss our arguments. I miss how he settled, how he joked about his sickness. His voice trailed off. Sounds like he's someone I would have been friends with, I said. Yes, he laughed, while tears fell down his face. I stopped him before they could reach down his chin. Then he leaned on me, and then we hugged. I let him wet my chest with his tears while I patted him gently on his back. 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, we both went for a picnic at the park. Jean stared at me and said, I don't know if I would ever be ready, but I would like to try. Jean, at any pace you want, I will go with you. We'll take care of it one day at a time together. All right, Paquel, he said and smiled. Can I kiss you? I asked. He smiled and leaned toward me. I met him halfway in the air and our lips touched. Conclusion. Like I told Jean that day, we took it one day at a time. Over time, he realized he could trust his heart to me and I wouldn't falter. I found myself loving him the more as he gradually opened himself to me. There was more to Jean than meets the eye. It was a treasure, his heart, one that I hoped to cherish forever. Now that I had him, there was nothing more I could ask of any genie ever. The end. Have you ever fallen in love with someone you met in a strange way? Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become part of our Rainbow Force. And stay wholesome.